Hello and welcome to another edition of of Live Conversations with Victor James. Thank you for joining and thank you for always clicking, and especially to those who share. I'm forever grateful, in-depthly grateful, because I want to reach as many people as possible so that the impact, which is really the gain of this podcast, is the impact, so that the impact can be bigger, the gain, profit can be bigger. So I appreciate those who share through sending DM, send it to people's DMs, or just sharing on their social media profiles. I'm grateful. And the last edition episode was a controversial topic, and I've had a lot of feedback, questions, and so on. And I'm sure that particular episode will continue to gather a lot of conversations and attention going forward. I'm sure people will still share it again and again or refer it to people who want to have some clarity as regards relationship. Anyway, but the old wine is out. That's that. Let's move forward. That's the anthem for the new year. Keep moving forward. Can't bask too much in the victory of yesterday that we forget to undo the war of today with much seriousness. We are just celebrating. In 1992, we won the Premier League. In 2005, we won the Premier. Have you won the Premier League in the last 10 years? There is one football club that I'm talking to. May God help them all. All right. Today, we want to talk about not football, but friendship. So I was born in a secondary school. Okay, I was born in a state hospital behind the secondary school, but my parents lived in a secondary. My dad was a staff of that secondary school, Aquinas College. Of course, my dad attended that school and became a staff there. I also attended it. I think I taught there too. I did teach. I taught there as a guest. They invited me to talk to people and also to teach people chemistry. Wow, that's like a lifetime away. I'm talking about 2011. Around 2011. It is where. Anyway, so it was an isolated environment. That's where I was, that's where that's where my mom left. When she was going to the hospital, she left the staff quarters of a secondary school. All right, to go to the hospital, and I was given birth to, and then they returned me to the compound of Aquinas College in Akure. So eventually we moved out and we moved to another part of town, Ajegunle Street. Ajegunle, you should know that it's not going to be touche. It's quite rough. It was rough. I lived there from till the age of 15. So that formed the basics, the foundations of my life. This is where it was formed. So I had a friend here who we went everywhere together. Everywhere. We went to church together, even though he was not a church member at the beginning. But just because of friendship with me, he became a church member. For you to know how deep the friendship was. If he wants to buy something, I will follow him. If I want to go and buy something, buy something for our parents. Because both of our parents sold provisions in kiosks. We went together. In primary school, we started primary school together. That will be September 1996. St. Michael Primary School. We went together. His mom took him by the hand. My mom took him by the hand. We started on the same day. We were not put in the same class. I put in an A. He was put in an B. Before this primary school, we went to. It's not kindergarten because it's not necessary. It's called Jele Simi, which is a Yoruba word that sparsely translates to give your parents peace of mind at home. So that's why they call the building. You will just drop your children that are about 4 or 5. You will drop them off to with a man, Pastor Sunday. I think that pastor, they call him pastor, but Bro Sunday, that's his name. So they will just drop me and my friend there with other guys. People were many there. All of us, young, tiny boys. Yeah, but he was training. He was training us, teaching us ABCD, and they were serving a lot of punishment. I remember carrying a brick, when we did something wrong. So he punished us and said we should carry a brick and raise it with two hands while leaning. I remember that I was the first one to cry. Why my friend didn't cry. Cried later on. And when I started crying, of course, I think they had to let me go because it was the cry that Uncle Sunday, Bro Sunday was looking for. God have mercy. The human memory is a funny thing. I've never recalled this memory for years or decades. And I'm saying it now as if I just saw the scene in a movie yesterday night. Anyway, so yeah, that's how my friend and I had been coming for years. For years. We graduated from primary school together, wrote our SSC, WAEC, secondary school leaving exam the same year. Until we left that Ajegule because we were living. Oh, I needed to mention that we lived in the same house. The same number 33 Ajegule. So we were living in that same house. So yeah, it was that's like the friendship that was my entire life for the first 15 years. I tried to, so now distance now brought us apart, and slowly. So I got admission to University of Benin early, at the age of 16. That's when I was already immediately. I was writing WAEC exam and I wrote JAM too, and I moved on. But it's not everybody that has that story. So the disparity in our own journey just sort of drifted us apart. Then stepped in the new friend. The first friend is Dakpo. The new friend, the first childhood friend. Yeah. The second friend, of course, I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this would know Yomi. When I was like 7, 8 in children church, I met one of the children church classmates that we grew up together in the same area, so we went to the same district. Yomi. So we met there, but of course we're children. And then later on, we're in youth section together. But we just say, this is Yomi, this is Victor, this is Samuel, this is Jide, this is Bayo. We're just people. This is Okpe. We're just guys, small boys who roll together, sort of. But we did not really. I couldn't say that he was a friend because at that time that was my friend, and yeah. So when I resumed university, understand that was a section of my history and was getting to its concluded chapters when I entered university. So it was the beginning of Yomi's own chapter. So in other level, I remember working in Uniben, still fresh. And then I saw somebody suddenly playing chess. This face is familiar. This is Yomi now that I knew from Akure. And now we're far away in Benin City, and I saw him. He was playing chess. So I went there to greet Yomi, and then that's how we reconnected. So it was reading petroleum engineering. I read microbiology. And briefly, interior level, we started, I lived with him off campus when we had accommodation issues in University of Benin, all 4 residents. I didn't know that I would go into this much history, but I needed to get to see all these so that I will clarify the entire central core point of the message. So Yomi and I, from this year that we met, 2009, and then we started living together. We lived together shortly in 2011, 2012. Let's say 2012, yeah. From there, we had been close to this moment. So yeah, there was not a break in the friendship. Really, there was no break since, let's say, 2011. Now this 2026. So we've lived together for a total of, I think, about 3 years. When I say total of 3 years, I mean we were living the same and we were eating from the same pot. So it was one of the sweetest times of our lives. We did masters together, Yomi and I. Were roommates in that masters, in University of Benin masters hostel. We were roommates then. Then when I moved to Lagos, we lived together again, before he got married and later I got married. Yeah, so it's sort of friendship that, at the same time we worked together. When we both graduated, we served in the same year. So I served in Osun, served in Oyo. We could easily visit. And then when we finished service, we worked together in an educational institution, just to prepare the future for ourselves. Then we have done several things together. We used to support the same club before both of us left that club, that football club. And we attend the same fellowship on campus. We know the same people and the same circle. Yeah, I'm laughing now. Anyway, it gives me a lot of lovely memories because we have done a lot together. So yeah, that's friendship. So that's that. Yomi is still present, and I think by now I know that it will be a long lifetime friend, by certainty, by God's grace. So let's mention another friend, Samuel King. In 2014, he started writing a lot on Facebook. Sorry, I'm a storyteller. I hope you're enjoying it so far. So I was writing in 2014. I started writing on Facebook very, very frequently. I'm talking about 2 times in a day. So very frequently started writing, and again some popularity. I started now writing more stories, Christian relationships, on post funny, you feel with humor, as I like to do. So it became popular with these writings, and then of course now attracted a lot of people, friends. One of them was Adim Samuel, who now later we met in real life at a wedding, and then we started chatting. After then, we now began to talk a lot. So now, at that time, he was living in Lagos. I think I'm talking now about 2016, 17, 18, while I was living in Akure still then. So when I moved to Lagos, it was easy because even before I moved to Lagos, we used to talk a lot, chat, talk, call. And when I visit Lagos, would see he came to Akure to visit me at a time. So later on, when I moved to Lagos 2021, of course, it's now made it a very express road of friendship, expressway of friendship, because we could see and we attended the same church. We were both in the same squad, the same unit of the same church. So he stayed in my house a lot. So yeah, he came over to my house a lot of time because he was living at that time very far from town, from where the church was located. So he would still in my house for days, yeah, so of course we were very close. I would be seen together in many places. So he was the first friend. Okay, yeah. When I was younger, when I was a child, with Dapo, people would see us together. In fact, in secondary school, in primary school, I remember that you can't ask for Dapo without seeing Victor. So people now said he was my brother. So they said we were brothers. They would call us Mata Bro, which it wasn't true, but because we were always seen together, people took us for brothers, siblings. For Samuel King too, it became almost like that if people saw me and they didn't see him, even till now, where is Samuel King? Thank God both of us now married. We got married. And then now, if you ask me that where's Samuel King, I'll just tell you I'm not his wife. It's not my wife too. So yeah, people have reduced asking the question. But as a last year or per year when both of us were single, people would be asking where's Samuel King from me. Then if they see him, where's VJW from him? We are not Siamese twins. I don't know, but that shows the level of friendship, closeness that we had. So these three are the top friends formed over the last over 3 decades of my life now. And then university, a lot of mentions. I had Yomi. I said Yomi. I had Demola. Demola was my most beloved friend during my undergraduate days. For 4 years, Demola, I loved him like David and Jonathan. He touched my heart a lot. I knew that no, this person is an extraordinary love that I had for him. Till today, I still consider him one of my closest, one of the persons who had been closest to my life, because he was a very free spirited person, you know. For these friends, maybe I want to examine their qualities. Yomi and Demola were a lot alike in the sense of very simple people. They didn't take things seriously. I take a lot of things seriously, but not necessarily Yomi and Demola. And then both of them were scholars. Yomi, of course, finished with first class. Yeah, Demola finished with 4.4. Samuel King is and Akpo are similar too in a lot of respect. But I think that at the end, what makes friendship is some sense of brotherliness or loyalty, you know, and being together. I mean, physically, you know, that's what I noticed in these 4 instances. We went places together, we were together. So if two people stay so close for a long period of time, of course they are going to become friends. And I think that's what happened that's what should happen. That's what God wanted to happen when he said, man shall not be alone. I make him an helpmate, a companion for life. If you're a companion to somebody, you guys will be you'll be each other's best friends, except when things are now out of the ordinary. But normally, because you are in each other's space, you are looking out for each other, you will become each other's best friend. But there are so many people I've met now, and I'm done with the historical part of this podcast. I'm going into the real podcast session now. What I believe you would have picked something from all I've shared in my personal story so far. But now I want to say some things. If you find yourself without much friends, or without many friends, to speak correctly, there are some things that you should ask about your own humanity, about your own personality. So, is it that you are not, you don't give people enough time, enough light of day for you to even be close to them? Or when people want to be close to you, you have a lot of plastic coating, let me say. You have a coating around your own self, which cannot make them to as it were, gum to you, to become compatible with you, to attach to you. So is it one? It's either, in most cases, either one of these two. Is either you have attachment issues and people cannot attach themselves to you, or for people that you meet, they are not people that you can be with. Now, there is a lot of sweetness that should be shared when you are with a friend. You know, even till today, if I see Demola now, there is no sense of preparation. I want to go and see Demola. How would it go? No need. You just see him and naturally it flows from there. If I see Yomi today, forget it. We can be together for 3 days and we just be talking and everything will go smoothly. The same to Samuel King. If I mistakenly call him either morning or night, that call would even if I have something I want to say very clearly, I want to tell him that please bring something to church tomorrow. That call will most likely go beyond 10 minutes. because it's a friend. A friend is someone that you should be with. It's your person. This is your person. This is your person. And it's a risk. I have to clarify. So people that do not form friends easily, they do not want to take risk. I have seen a lot of similarities between friendship and relationship. So you don't want to go out of your comfort zone to try and speak to somebody. You don't want the person to say no to you. You don't want them to misinterpret you. You are not going to be in a relationship. It's the same with friendship. Of course, for me, by God's grace, a lot of this friendship happen naturally. But for Yomi, I had to be reaching out. I reached out a lot. I reached out to Yomi a lot at the beginning. Before later on, he now became a major force in my life. But in the beginning, he reached out. Samuel King reached out. That's what he did in the beginning. He would chat me up because he knew me on Facebook. So he would chat me up. It's a risk. What if the person snubs you? What if the person has a very bad character? It's a risk, that we would have to take. And then I understand that one of the reasons why it seemed difficult in this our time and age is because of we don't really have the time. So I have an hypothesis that once you get married and you don't have a friend, you may not have a friend forever. I mean, that is not your life partner, because that life partner will just take their space. But if you have had a friend before you got married, it may help, because you just need to continue to sustain it. Of course, at the beginning, after they get married, it happens. It happens natural. They may not be very attentive to you because, they're trying to build the foundations of the next 50 years of their life. It's understandable. But you don't worry, in the next 4 months or so, you guys will be back on track. I didn't do that, by the way. So because I already saw it when Yomi got married, when Samuel King got married, I knew that I'm not going to do this. I would stick with people without giving that honeymoon period. Anyway, this is not about me. So the time that you guys will spend together, only the two of you, is important. Imagine this story, these 4 friends that I'm using as the baseline, as data for my analysis. That we're living in the same building. You know what I mean? We lived in the same room on campus, and then lived in the same room, shared the same apartment in Lagos. Samuel King, he lived with me for days. And then we went to the same church every Sunday. Then Demola too. We were in another level. His room was adjacent to mine. And then we were in the same class, in the same department, we read the same course. There must always be that central point of compatibility, of union, of similarity between two people for them to be to relate long enough and deep enough for them to be friends. Right? I would think from these my four experiments, I should call them lab rats. Sorry, my guys, I apologize. So you would have to have people like that who would be in the same space with you, and that is friendship. It should form naturally. Let me say this: our friendship form naturally? Yes. Our friendship form artificially? Yes. That's it. So in this friendship, that the first friend that was naturally, I was too young to even be intentional about it then. Demola, it was natural too. So I just realized that I love this guy. And then we just started from classmates to now became friends. For Yomi, it wasn't. Even though we had known each other since we were 7-8 years old, it was in university that I became more intentional about, I was looking for a space. So it was in the place of fulfilling a need for me. That is how we found each other's friendship. For Samuel King, he stepped out of comfort zone, which I realized later that he does that. He used to do that a lot. So he approached me and talked with me, and then I talked with him, and then we became friends. So it's not as if anything happened naturally. It's like love and relationship matter too. Yes, some people it has happened to me. Finished an event, a wedding event, on a bus with somebody going back to our different places. We started talking very natural. We it was like a beautiful story that was brought out of pages of a novel. The way it happened, it was very natural. But of course, I know also that there are people like my beloved wife who I intentionally stepped out to approach. I saw the person, I said I would go and approach this person, and I approached. Nothing natural happened in the beginning. It took a decision from me. So I think this is how friendship is formed. You will have to step out and not be waiting for the laws of nature or the spiritual forces to help you out. Then you will need to spend time together. You will need to take risks. You will need to spend time together. Guy, are you around? Alpha, are you free? I'm coming to your place today. I want to pass the night at your place. You have done it once. You guys, after a church service, you meet at an eatery, you speak and talk. You are sustaining your friendship. So your friendship will need to last for a long. You need to do the sustaining work. You need to put in the work for a long number of years before it can now become something that is flowing by itself. Like me and Demola flowing by itself. Me and Yomi just flowing by itself. So it's become a place where it doesn't matter. I didn't see Demola for about 4 years, but it didn't matter. We didn't talk for maybe 7 months, but this is my guy, you know. Of course, the distance and the lack of communication will be slowly eroding, reducing the power of that and the bond and the strength of that friendship. That is fact. But once you guys talk, once you catch up again, that battery is like a battery. A phone battery that you see the icon, it rises up as once you plug it to a charger, it begins to rise again and gets full. Of course, you may not charge that phone for a long time again, but it won't die. It just reduces in strength. That's how that happens. So yeah, what you need to do, but at the beginning, you will need to put in the time. That you need to even formulate a plan. If you are the person who is listening to this and you actually want more friends, which I would recommend to anybody, want more friends, you need to be intentional about them. And you can't be thinking about yourself in a friendship and be thinking that will this happen to me? What if the person does not do this to me? No. You can't do that. I know that for guys, it's easier. Generally, from what people have said, that it's easier for guys to become fast friends than for ladies to be. Maybe because ladies are, again, less, they do not take as much risk as men. They are not necessarily risk takers by nature. I'm careful here because I don't want to generalize because, humans are separate and different from each other. But yeah, even if you're a lady, which I expect a lot of ladies to listen to this because it probably would help them even more. What I'd say is find a kind person and be a kind person. The ones you can control is for you to be a kind person. If they do not want to be friends with you, you would know too, and it's okay. But understand too, that it's not a conscious decision most time that people do not want to be friends with you because somebody has met me before and said they want to be friends with this particular lady who I knew. So I said, oh, okay, she's a very nice person. Approach them and talk to them. So they said when they talk to the person, that the person did not give them that same vibe, energy, which, ladies are quite sensitive to energy. It's important to everybody, really, not just ladies alone. So the person started to shift away. say they do not want to, they don't want to risk that friendship. They don't want to risk. They don't want to take the risk of trying to work on that friendship so that it will bloom at the early stages because the person did not give them that vibe. But everybody will not. It's not going to give you the vibe. I didn't want to share this story before, but at the beginning of your me friendship, who is now presently my most long standing friend. At the beginning, when I met him in that event that I mentioned, that was playing chess in Faculty of Engineering, University of Benin, I greeted him. How far? You're somebody I knew from 8 years old, from Akura all the way. How far? I waved him. He did it. He answered and went back to his chess. Imagine someone that you've not seen for years. Then you saw in a very strange place. Then the person just gave you a very cold greeting. So of course, I also shifted away. From that first year, I didn't really reach out. But 1-2 years later, I reached out because I saw him again. So, and realized that it was just that moment because he wanted to win. That's why nothing happened. It wasn't anything personal. So I just needed to probably try again at another time. So yeah, and that's it. So it's the same with everything in life. You just need to put yourself out there and take the risk, and then you can't be thinking about yourself about I don't like people doing this to me. I don't like people no. Now you need to be less self-centered, self-thinking, and more about the person. And if it would be a friendship that will work, they will return the favor because it can never be one-sided. So the same, there is no love that is one-sided love. It's like a paradox. A love must be mutual for it to be love. If it's one-sided, it's not love. It's another thing. Maybe crush, So yeah, I hope that whoever listens to this finds some reminder and some pointer as to how to work out a relationship. And I know half of this voice note, half of this podcast, half of this podcast has been me sharing stories, and I hope those stories were interesting to you too. Thank you so much for listening. I would do a follow-up on this podcast about what kills friendship. So for existing friendship, how do they go bad, and what will make them go bad? I would do a podcast on that next. Thank you very much, and please don't forget to share. My name is Victor James, and this is Life Conversations. God bless you.